Hello, Infiniteers! On today's episode of Toy Box Classics, we are going to begin building my version of Gusteau's kitchen, originally created by D-Animator, which I demoed for you last time. And as I mentioned, it's probably the classic toy box that's going to take the longest to build. At least half a dozen episodes, maybe more. So we're going to devote the next couple of weeks to doing just this toy box. Now my goal was to recreate the original toy box by D-Animator, but I always like to go back to the source material whenever possible. In this case, it helps me see why D-Animator arranged things the way he did and what he was trying to recreate so that perhaps I could improve on it. Here are some screenshots of the kitchen from the Ratatouille movie. In this shot, Linguini enters the kitchen through the back door. There are two huge industrial stoves in front of him, and one in an alcove on the right. The saucier station is through the archway on the left. Gusteau's office is in the back right corner, and you can get a glimpse of the red doors that lead into the dining area on the back wall. Here's another shot of this same angle later in the movie, and here you can see there's a sink between Linguini and the first stove. You can also see the two prep stations on the left, those stainless steel tables. This shot gives you another look at the kitchen. Linguini and Colette are standing at the nearest prep station that was in the previous shot, and you can see the two massive stoves in the middle of the screen. Behind them, in the back, on the left, is the red door leading into the dining area, which you can just see on the left edge of the screen. There's wood paneling along that same wall, and in front of the paneling and behind the left-hand stove is the plating station with the three heat lamps above it. Here's a shot of the saucier station beyond the archway. This was taken between the two big stoves in the middle of the room. In the saucier station, there's a stove on the left with a hood above it, and a long stainless steel table and shelves below the window. Here's a shot of their reaction to Linguini's antics. I remember that scene, and I love that scene. And you get a good look at the third big stove in the alcove behind them in the back. And here's another shot of that same alcove with the third stove. The two prep stations are in the foreground on the left and right sides of the screen. Here's another shot of Linguini at the saucier station, and you can see Gusteau's office in the back left corner, along with one of the heat lamps at the plating station. Here's the stove that's closest to the back door, with the sink on the left, and notice there's a dishwasher station in the background to the left of the saucier station, and this is something that D-Animator had omitted from his toy box, and I'm going to do that too. Here's another shot of the same stove and the same sink, but looking in the other direction. The alcove with the big stove is in the back on the left, and the big stainless steel door leads behind the sink. That's behind the sink leads into the pantry. Here's another shot of the saucier station, and you can see that in addition to the stove and the long workstation below the window is a set of shelves containing some dishes and a basket of utensils. And here's one more shot of Linguini working at the saucier station. Now from all of these shots, someone put together this map of the kitchen layout, and D-Animator's original toy box followed this layout pretty closely. Notice though, as we look at the video footage of D-Animator's toy box, that his walls have a more brown or terracotta color to them, rather than the white brick that we see in the movie. Also, his floor is pretty plain. It doesn't look tiled like the movie, but all of the stations look amazing, and he did a great job of recreating this kitchen in Disney Infinity 1.0. But since we are working in 3.0, and we have some textures and styles that he didn't have, I chose to update his design a bit to give it a fresh look and help it match the movie better. But I did try to stay true to his layout, which means that I left out the dishwasher station and the order station. So this is what we're going to start building today. And the first thing I want to do as usual, is to set the sky. So we'll drop a sky changer out here. Go into the properties. Under sky, we'll go down to Disney Infinity. And I'm going to choose the Metroville sky. This is about the brightest sky that we have, which is important because the kitchen's going to be enclosed and cut off a lot of this light. So I want to make sure that we have as much light as possible. Now with the city over that way and an exit to the bay over that direction, I chose to do the layout as follows. The wall with the red door leading into the dining area will be on that end of the toy box. The door that leads out to the back alley will be in that one. The saucier station will be on this side, and that big alcove with the big stove will be on that side. Okay? So that's how I'm going to lay that out. And we're going to put down terrain first to frame in the room. And I'm going to use the Frosted White World. I'll set that to be my theme. And we'll start with this big block. We're not really going to use this, except it's going to plug a gap underneath this wall. And we're going to place this right on the edge of this, just like that. And let me grab my screenshots here. Okay. So we're going to put that there. And we're going to go up 2. And we're going to build over in that direction. Okay? And let's make our way around the perimeter here, going counterclockwise. So what we want to do here is we want to place this block at floor level. This will be floor, okay? And we want to make sure we have 2 square blocks is how far this is going to stick out from the wall. All right? And then we're going to stack these 8 of them to go all the way to the top. Like that. And then let's come up to the blocks, and we're going to use this as a spacer. We're going to place one of these down here. Let's see. Yeah, like that. Okay. Go back to the big tall one here. This is going to sit right along the back of this. Just like that. So that this little block is sandwiched in there like you see. Okay. And then we'll pick this up and put it back without moving it. And we will go up and drop another one. Actually, that should have gone down. Sorry. Like that. I thought I was at floor level with this one, but I wasn't. Okay. And back to the blocks. We're going to drop another block right here. I'm going to put 2 of them down, actually. Go back over to this block. And that's going to sit in there just like that. Again, stack these 8 high. This is the alcove with that 3rd stove. Okay. And actually, let's drop, should have left that 1 in there like that. Okay, and we'll pick this piece up, put it back without moving it. We're going to come out here and drop this right up against the wall there, like that, and right up against that little spacer block. We can take that out. So this sits back as far as the other wall on this end does. And this is the wall where Gusteau's office will be. All right, we'll pick that up and put it back without moving it. Stack it too high. And then we're going to drop another one up here, just like that. And put two of them across like that. That's the wall with the red door that leads to the dining area. We'll put another block down here as a spacer. Actually, not that one. We only need 2 blocks, so not 3. And bring it right up against that first block there. Okay. All right, and we'll pick that block up and put it back, stack it too high. All right, now we'll start framing in the saucier station. And let's come down here. Put 2 of those sticking out like that. And then this block is going to go right on the end of those. 8 high. Okay. And then back to our nice long one. And I like using this one because it's a huge surface without any seams. And it makes a great wall for a room that's this tall. Okay. All right, now we'll come up and grab this one. So basically this is 3 blocks in. Pick that up, put it back. So just like that, stack it too high. And make sure it was indeed touching, which it is. There's no gap between the wall and our spacer, so we'll take that out now. Okay, coming back around on this side, we will place another little terrain cube off the end of it like this. And then we're going to come over to the left in the terrain drawer to this small terrain block. Drop that right there like that. Stack that 4 high. Go to the next size larger. Stack that 4 high. Okay. And then we'll come grab our little spacer block here. And I'm going to pick it up and move it. And we're going to bring it out to the front edge of this block here. Okay, so you can see how we're framing in the saucier station, that big alcove. One difference is there's no window. I'm not putting in the window here. And the reason I'm not doing that is because DAnimator didn't do that. And if that's something you want to do, though, feel free. Just be aware that the way we're going to build this, some shelves are going to be up there covering up the window. Okay, we'll come over here and we're going to grab, we can delete these little helpers. We're going to grab this block. We're going to slide over here and line it up like that. And again, put this 8 high. Like that. And then we'll pick this up, put it back, bring it around on this side. We're going to put 2 blocks there. And then we'll go back down to the terrain drawer, grab our huge block here. There we go. We're up against that block down there. Bring that up 2 high. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, it's starting to take shape. It's looking pretty decent. Okay, let's come back over here next. And on the back side of this, on the terrain block we originally started with, we're going to drop down a couple of blocks here. And then we're going to put down one of these big blocks like you see there. Stack those 2 high. Okay. And then over here, once again, these smaller blocks stick out 2 away from the wall. So we're going to do the same thing here. Put this 8 high. Like that. We'll take those little helpers out. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is this is going to sit back just a little bit. This is where the door is to the alleyway. So that's going to sit back a little bit. And then we're going to come down and grab this block right here. That's going to sit in there just like that. We're going to put that 4 high. And actually, probably going to end up moving that top one, but we'll just put that there for now. And we'll take and move this over to the other side. And then we'll build this here, 8 high. I'm going to replace that bottom one in a moment, but we'll do that. Come back over and grab this. This is going to sit in here. With the edge of it lined up with that wall there. And drop this in place so it's at the same height as those others. Put it 2 high. There's that little corner. Okay, and then for the starting block, we're going to come over here and delete this. And we're going to go into the terrain drawer, go left. And I'm going to the cave pieces. We got to go left a little ways to get there. Past the canyons. All the way over to here. And the cave end will go on the back, but we'll put the cave tunnel right here on the end. This is how the player is going to start. Like they're entering the kitchen. And this will sit on the back like that. So there's the starting point for the player. And now we have the kitchen all framed in. Now let's put the floor in. And for that, what we're going to do, let me pick this piece up, put it back, get back to that part of the drawer. We're going to use the small terrain block. And this is a little larger than the size of the tiles that were used in the movie, but this is going to help us save memory and still give us the same look. So what we're going to do is place this here like this, and then just start going across like that, and then just fill in the floor. And the terrain seams here work to our advantage. Sometimes when you're building a world, you're not really crazy, or I'm not really crazy about the terrain seams. But in this case, this works to our advantage because it looks like tile. And I did not go all the way over to the wall on the right because we're going to cover that up when we build the Saucier station. And then we'll have some gaps to plug over here on the sides. Here we go. All right, and over here, yeah, we can use the larger pieces here to plug the gaps. Actually use a large piece in here. Just so you don't have a gap here behind this terrain seam. And again, don't worry about this. We're going to cover this up with that long workstation in the back of the Saucier station. Okay, over here we need to put something to plug the gap. And we gotta do the same thing over on this corner. There we go. And there is your tiled floor. And that's looking really sharp. Okay, how are we doing on time? Well, we're doing pretty good. I think we can finish framing this in. Let's start over on this end here now. And I'm going to pick this piece up, put it back. Come over and grab the small terrain block, and let's put the top of the alcove in here. So that looks pretty good. Now there was kind of an arch shape to that, and the way D-Animator did that, I thought this was pretty brilliant. It's not a piece I would have chosen, but we're going to pick up this little cave tunnel piece and go left. And there's a piece over here, this one, which when you turn it sideways makes kind of a nice little arch looking thing. We're going to place those in here like that, flip it around. Is it accurate? No, but that doesn't look too bad. It gives you kind of the arch shape, and I like that. All right, now over on this side, we're going to do pretty much the same thing at about the same height. But this time we only need one. And we'll bring this block forward like that. Okay, so there's the back door archway. And then over on this side, grab our small terrain block, put those across like that. Then we'll come back here and pick up our archway, little overhanging ledge piece. Like that. And there we go. It's starting to look like a pretty decent shaped room. Okay, some little details here. If you look at the floors in the movie, they have these little diamond-shaped tiles that go on the corners of the tiles. We don't have diamond shapes, but we do have square shapes. You can use the little small floor piece and drop this right on the intersections here. And for the color on this, since they were black, about the best one we've got is the blacktop theme. So I'll set that to be my theme. And then you just put one at every intersection. We're going to not do that one because it's in the tunnel. So every visible intersection is where you're going to want to put one of these. And it's not oriented like the diamond shape, but that's okay. I think it still looks pretty good and conveys the idea. And if you really, really wanted this to be oriented at a 45-degree angle, you could use a path to do that. You'd have to use a lot of paths on the floor, but you could make that happen. It's a lot of work though, so I chose not to do that. And when you use that many paths, it's going to take up a lot of memory. And I did not want to do that in my toy box, because being on a Wii U, I don't have a lot of memory to spare. Again, you don't need to do this up against the walls, just in the middle of the room. So I don't need one on that intersection. If you really wanted to, I suppose you could, but and I won't do the rest of the room, but I wanted to do just enough so you could see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. Now, as I said, if you wanted to, what you could do is for each and every one of these, and I'll show you how to do it. You can decide if you want to spend the time doing that or not. But you can drop a path at each intersection, like this. Go like that to the corner. Okay. Do a go into the logic menu for the path, go into properties, make sure you turn off auto start objects when connected, and then select the little floor block here, go into the logic menu, do a new path connection, connect that to the path, go into the block properties, which you now have, go under toy box path, and orient along the path. That will give you the diamond shape that you might want, and it looks really good, but you're going to have to do that for every one of these things. And I think that looks good enough. But again, if you really wanted to, you could spend the time and do that. But I'm not going to do that, so I will delete the path, which will put the block back in its original orientation. All right, well, we are half hour into the video, and I think that's as far as I want to go today. So next time we will start building the 3 big stoves in the middle of the room. And before the next video, I'll finish filling in the tile over that way. Thank you for watching. Before you go, leave a comment and let me know what you think of the toy box layout and the updates that I've made so far to D-Animator's original design. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Disney Infinity toy box designs like this. That's all for me today. See you next time.